A lot of people are rooting for the 49ers on Sunday because if they win, then of course they go to the Super Bowl and it's going to be incredible. First of all, this year, the Super Bowl, for the first time ever, duh, will be in Las Vegas. And you talk about a combination of a whole lot of things. You've got Glamour City, you've got the gambling, you've got the pretty people, you've got probably pretty good weather, although even if it's not good weather, it's a dome stadium. So, it's not going to affect the playing of the game, but it's just a combination of all that. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about the fact that if the 49ers win, and it's pretty likely that they're going to win, they're playing a team that, I don't want to, this is not about sports, but most likely they're going to win. They're favored by 7 points, some places it's 7.5. And Detroit, is, happy to be there kind of a team. And of course, I say all this, and when Detroit finds a way to win, I'll get egg over my face. But anyway, everybody and their uncle is picking the 49ers. If the 49ers win, then they go to the Super Bowl. They play either Baltimore or Kansas City. That's a pick-em game. So here's why I'm talking to you today. And believe me, this is being broached on all fronts in the local Bay Area TV news scene. And that is this. Niners win. And most of the time when the team goes to a Super Bowl, the city and the local news teams go to the Super Bowl. And they usually go the Monday before the game and they file reports. They go to Media Day, which is Tuesday. I've been to 3 Super Bowls. I was at the first Niners Super Bowl in Detroit back in 1982 in Southfield. I stayed with the team and went to the Raiders in 1980, and I went and covered the 49ers 84 season, 85 here in the Bay Area at Stanford. That's just a side note. So Vegas is the locale. And here's the $1 million deal question right here. And that is, it ain't cheap to go to any Super Bowl. And yeah, it's in Vegas. What is it? 525 miles. That's not the issue. The issue is logistics, staying at a hotel. You got to have probably a minimum of 3 people. You have the talent, you have a producer, and you have an assistant to the talent. At least 3 people. Even for non-fans, the press and all that, very expensive. Vegas, everything is going to be inflated anyway. Everybody and their uncle is going to be there in terms of, use your imagination on one end, but the costs, the hotels, you got to rent a car. I'm sure that's not going to be cheap. There's no such thing as Uber in that universe as far as talent and TV crews and all that. I'll get to radio in a second. But so for a lot of television stations, they necessarily or not necessarily are going to send a team. Now, let's go to the obvious. CBS is carrying the Super Bowl this year. KPIX locally, I'm sure, is going to send probably Vern Glenn and the producer and whomever to the game. And they're going to do reports during the week. That's not going to be an issue. It would be very, very embarrassing and downright humiliating if local KPIX, CBS Bay Area wasn't there. That won't be the case. They will be there. Again, this is all predicated on the 49ers winning. But they may even be there if the 49ers don't win and don't go. That's locally KPIX. Now let's talk about the other stations. And again, I have no knowledge on this. I haven't called anybody yet, but I will. I'm just getting an early tag here. Let's start at KGO7 ABC. It's a coin flip. I would assume, and I would bet, no pun intended here, that KGO Circle 7 will send somebody. Probably, I don't know, Larry Beal and a couple other people, maybe a news person. Disney is notoriously cheap, but on something like this, I think they're going to send somebody, but don't bet on it. Again, no pun intended. I've already talked to you about 5, CBS. Cron, I don't know. You know, they probably will. But as I indicated earlier, this is not cheap. You've got logistics, you've got hotel rooms. You probably buy a hot dog during the week, or those buffets that everybody likes to eat. The $2.99 buffets are over with. The freebies are only for the high rollers. And you got to be a high roller in order to get the freebies. So the 295 Stardust, and Stardust is not even there anymore. You probably know that. But anyway, everything's going to be inflated. It's going to be kind of a systematic price gouging at its worst. In the NFL, what are they going to do, right? And they hold the keys to the kingdom, but Vegas has got to make its money too, right? And they will. So you've got food, you've got the hotel rooms, and believe me, I've heard at the so-called, Motel 6s and those little dimpy little places off the strip and, away 4 or 5 miles away, they're going to get 300, 400 a night. So you can imagine what it's going to be like on the strip. Use your financial imagination. That's not cheap for a week stay. Do the math. Also, at a time when newsrooms are tightening their belts anyway. So, logistics, hotels, food, rental cars, dramatic costs, and how about airlines? Did we talk about airlines? You don't think the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose to Las Vegas, you don't think Southwest and all these other airlines know about the Super Bowl? So it costs a lot of money. And again, newsrooms are tightening their belts as it is. Back to forecasting. Cron, I don't know. I imagine they're going to send somebody, but I really don't know. NBC, probably, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, or if they pick up maybe the local NBC affiliate in Vegas and use reports. I'm not certain on that. I'm just saying. Don't be surprised if you see that. KTVU, Channel 2, Fox 2. Boy, they are cutting and cutting and cutting. Boy, do they have belt tightening. Again, I would imagine they send a crew, but I'm not certain. And who the hell does the sports now at KTVU? Can anybody guess? There's one guy, Jason Applebaum, but I don't know. So it's a 50-50 proposition. Again, Fox, very heavy duty into sports. One of their core stations is KTVU in the Bay Area. And of course, the 49ers would be the team. So I would imagine that Fox would lay out a few shekels extra to send a team from their 0-0 in the Bay Area. But again, I don't know. And see, this is all, imagine this. At the conclusion of the game on Sunday night, there's going to be a whole bunch of people meeting in rooms or Zooms or virtual meetings, whatever, talking about this. I'm sure they've gone over it and decisions have already been made, but there's lots of last minute things you have to get secured through the NFL and the 49ers and hotel rooms and credentials and all that stuff. That's not going to cost anything. It's just the fact that because of all this fiscal awareness now, they're counting, paper clips and staff, and even 3 people. That's a good chunk of change. That's like 25 grand if you add up all the costs. It may sound like a lot, but or a little, not the case when you're dealing with the belt tightening that is taking place. It's not just the Bay Area; it's other areas. But this is a big market. You would think the number 6 market for TV. We used to be number 4. Now we're number 6. It'd be an easy call. And it is for the most part. But these days, not the case. So don't be surprised, once again, if one of your big time stations doesn't send a crew. Or if they do, it's going to be the bare bones crew. Radio. So there's one station or 2 stations here, and they're both in fiscal purgatory themselves, and that's KNBR, owned by Cumulus, and 95.7, the FM station, The Game, owned by Odyssey, which a couple of weeks ago declared bankruptcy. Let's start with the secondary 95.7, The Game. Do they send a morning team? Probably. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't. There's this thing in Vegas, and they're all Super Bowls. It's called Radio Row. And that's where all the radio shows from various markets do their morning show or their drive time show, afternoon show, what have you. And they usually have a whole bunch of NFL and football people and sports people make the runs, and they have guests on, and it's right there from Las Vegas. So The Game, probably. Not sure. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't. KNBR is going to send somebody. They are the flagship station for the 49ers. They stand to make a lot of money, or at least pay some bills by having The Game, and especially since they carry the 49ers, But again, I don't think they're going to send every morning or afternoon or midday team. Probably one. I'm sure they're going to send the 10 to 2 crew, and they're going to send, well, not for sure. I would imagine they'd send the morning team, although who knows? That call is not by the program director, by the way, Mr. It's by Larry Bloomhagen. He's the market manager for Cumulus. So on that end, I'm sure KNBR will have representation there at the Super Bowl. A couple of things. I want to thank Steve down in San Jose for a very generous contribution to the cause, who watches me on YouTube and has read the blog. I want to thank all of you who contribute. Again, if you like what you see, or even if you don't like what you watch, please make a donation to my cause. The PayPal donation button up on the right side of the blog. If you like the YouTube show, we're just getting started. And 4th month, I beg your indulgence on my look. I am not feeling well, but I'm feeling a little bit better. Cross your whatever fingers. Have this thing that everybody has. It's just congestion, phlegm. Oh, I'm being really gross here. So it's this cough thing in the head and the nose. So chicken soup. Anybody make chicken soup? Call me or email me at rich.lieberman@gmail.com. I'm all for ideas, and I have plenty of ideas. Send me chicken soup and the dough to keep me going, right? Okay. So on the local media front, I thought that would be timely. It's Thursday. If you're watching this live, fantastic. If you want to download it, watch it later. And my voice is telling me chicken soup and tea time. So I'm going to take a hike. See you later. Thanks for watching.